Brilliant. Well, hello everyone. Good evening, or maybe good morning. I'm not sure, but yeah, we're really pleased to be hosting another Wednesday with Wing as part of the UK Wing Geothermal Committee. So something a little bit different. We were, as you know, this year's theme is looking at the role geothermal can play in terms of sustainable development and how it can meet those sustainable development goals. So I'm just going to introduce you now to our speaker today. We've got Dr. Zana Al-Zyoud. So she is an associate professor at the Faculty of Earth and Environmental Sciences at the Bayt University. So Zana has a PhD in geothermal sciences and technology from the Technical University of Darmstadt, Germany. So Zana actually has 10 years experience in lecturing applied geosciences, and she's been supervising MSc students working in the kind of thermo-petrophysical properties of rocks in Jordan. So she has a lot of publications to her name in terms and focused around shallow geothermal resource utilization in Jordan. So Zana is also the director of Women's Studies Centre at the Al Bayt University. And what this has done, it's given her this position, has given her this chance to work on sustainable development and women empowerment in the Al Mafraq local community. So what Zana brings to the table here is passion towards the geoscience, but also passion towards social development. So without further ado, if I hand the floor to you, Zana, welcome.
Yes, hello everybody. Thank you for Wing, and thank you for you, Becky, and for all the colleagues and friends from your side. It's really my pleasure to have this opportunity to talk about geothermal sciences from Jordanian aspects and also from sustainable development, and maybe as a lecturer and also as a woman in this country, it's worth really to discuss the geothermal sciences from more than 5 or 6 aspects. It's not only electric generation and energy prospect, but also a lot of employment, a lot of women empowerment, a lot of medical aspects, and this is really my view always and my passion to do in Jordan, to introduce geothermal energy, especially if you know that I'm the first geothermal scientist in Jordan, and hesitating of to know if any other lady has already took this opportunity to have geothermal science in her PhD or master's as well. Geothermal sciences in Jordan is not well known because we have a geology field at our departments at our public or private universities in Jordan. No specific specialization in geothermal sciences, even in master degree. No PhD also works on geothermal sciences or such related sciences in Jordan. So this gave us really good opportunity to introduce us as a scientist to all over the world and to the people who are really interested to know about geothermal sciences in Jordan. So what about geothermal science? I have to click, yes. So geothermal science, as many of the audience know, is a very new green free renewable energy resource in Jordan. Jordan is blessed with a lot of resources, of geothermal resources. I will show you a map and have a little bit a wide vision over our resources. Shallow geothermal system is my special field to do in geothermal science in Jordan. because we don't have deep geothermal systems in Jordan, according to other green electric generating opportunity resources in Jordan, like solar energy, for example. And according to the coast, as a developing country, the coast is always a big obstacle um, during doing such deep geothermal systems in the country. So the shallow geothermal systems are really promising for future utilization in Jordan. The deep heat sources also very promising, but I told you according to the cost, technology, and also decision maker decisions, this is not easy to implement in Jordan. Um, we have different applications for direct and indirect geothermal utilization in Jordan, but we need more investigations regarding the probable impact on local and national socio-economic scale. So unfortunately, we have a limited research discuss the local and also a national um, um, sustainable development aspects reflected by geothermal resources in Jordan. So affordable, integrated and sustainable strategy for geothermal resources development in Jordan is really becoming very essential in the future, and this is not have not dead yet in Jordan. This is I could clarify you the photo. This is a Shuna hot water pool. It's located in north west Jordan, nearby the Syrian border, and also Lebanese and Palestinian as well. So it's a triple point border. Unfortunately, this was 2019 when I was with my student, master student, Al Salamin, and when I had a look before 4 months ago, unfortunately, this pool become totally dried due to the some false decisions to close the spa there. So unfortunately, no more hot water pool, despite that the water is still coming and the water is still running and the hot springs still have a good yield, and the local people there using this water after cooling it for irrigation purposes. So this is the situation in Jordan. So what about the thermal water map in Jordan? Here is our beloved country. We have mainly one famous field, which is located along the Jordan Valley Fault, which is Dead Sea Fault. And it's a well-known fault extended from north up to south, and also extended to the Red Sea and up to Africa. This fault has a very suitable geological settings, which cause to have more than 50 springs scattered from North Jordan up to this area, let's say Middle Jordan. And it's expected that if we drilling some shallow wells in these areas, we will have also hot water, thermal water. As you can see here, the gradient here is very high. It's expected to be more than 4.5 centigrade per 100 meter. And on the other side, we have another sub-fields. The second field in Jordan is northeastern Jordan with the Iraqi border, which is Arisha. And you can see here from structural aspect that this area is intersect of a lot of faults, main faults, and also small faults. And we have a natural gas field here in Jordan, and it's famous natural gas. It's Arisha, called Arisha natural gas field. And there is some modest temperature detection in this area that the geothermal gradient in this area also is recorded to be from high to very high. Another field, we have small two fields in Azraq area, which is also our only wetland in Jordan, and it has this field nearby the wetland, but we don't use the hot water in the wetland. The wetland is irrigated, or let's say is survived by groundwater pumped from other place. Unfortunately, the wetland currently became dried, so it's survived by pumping water from other groundwater, cold groundwater table nearby Amman. So this is also the third area, which has also promising geothermal gradient. It's nearby a well-known also fault system, which is Serhan fault system, and it's extended to southern part, southern southern east desert, which is Al Jafar. Also, there is detection of high geothermal gradient, which is around 5, or let's say between 4 and 5, and it's also promising to have such gradient for heating purposes. So this is also a structural map for Jordan. As you can see, we have, due to the main fault of Dead Sea fault, we have a lot of strike slip faults. We have a lot of normal faults scattered all around the country, and I really believe as a geologist that we will have much heat flow from deep crust or shallow mantle due to the intersection of intersections of lots of fault system in Jordan. So this is general overview about the geothermal fields in Jordan. They are Dead Sea Fault, Al Risha, and Al Khalidiyya, which is nearby Al Azraq, and southeast Jordan. So what we do have currently, according to utilizing thermal water or geothermal resources in Jordan. Unfortunately, we don't use geothermal resources in Jordan for wide usage in Jordan. It's limited just by spa. So as I showed you, we have more than maybe 50 thermal spring, more than maybe another 50 thermal wells, but what we use is about 10 thermal springs scattered from north to middle Jordan, just nearby Dead Sea, the last one. And currently we use this thermal water as for curative water and also for a spa. The high mineralization as well as high temperature are recommended for treatments. And this is also a March photo, March 2020. 2022, sorry, for Ma'in hot spring. Ma'in is located here, so it's nearby Dead Sea, and it's really on a very hot spot or geothermal hotspot in Jordan, and we use it just thermal water spa. What we are doing in Jordan currently, what we are doing as geoscientists, and I have one colleague from UK and also one colleague from Germany, we are looking to make public awareness about geothermal sciences and about geothermal utilization in Jordan, and let people know how this really earth source could be used not just for power generation and not just for spa, but we could use it for much more geothermal aspects. And I really emphasize on the point that as a woman and as a professor and also as a director of Women Center at the university, I get in contact with ladies that those are looking for economic empowerment and also looking for an opportunity to have their own SMEs, and they are nearby these springs. They're just using this water for irrigation, and they couldn't realize that this water could be really a very, let's say, um, good resource, let's say, or a very empowered resource for them to have their SMEs and to have their own markets for whatever they want to make soups, or to make their own spas, or wherever they want to make it. But we have the opportunity to have this all over Jordan. So what I suggest also in my presentations always, and also in my argumentation regarding geothermal resources utilization in Jordan, that we could use this source for greenhouse heating. In this area, what I showed you in this map, we have unfortunately very freezing temperature at some, let's say, last 5 years. We have really very freezing temperature in winter, and those greenhouses are very nearby those hot springs. So unfortunately, the farmers really had a disappointed situation, and they lost their crops according to this freezing in the night. I mean, at the day time, and also in summer, the temperature is rising very high, and it's fine for some crops because this is a valley. But unfortunately, due to climate change, the freezing temperature at winter nights destroyed their crops. So this is one of my suggestions to use this water or thermal water for greenhouse heating, especially at night. Also aquaculture, and we have some modest trials to have this water for fish farming. Crops drying, we're also aware about a lot of production, especially for tomato in Jordan Valley, potato. Always we have also in the northeastern desert a lot of fruits like apricots. So unfortunately, when we couldn't export such the extra amounts of production, it's worth to dry these production or these vegetables for to have economic benefits, reflectance on the farmers. I don't know if you are aware that some farmers really in some seasons they just throw their tomato and potato on the ground, and the animals sometimes also try to eat the green remains of these crops. Unfortunately, we couldn't use geothermal energy up to this moment for crops drying, and I see that this gonna be also a good opportunity for the Jordanian economists and also for the Jordanian farmers to have opportunity by a cheap way for their crops drying. And also, I could make a joke here. We have a very traditional dish in Jordan, which is mansaf. Mansaf is a yogurt that it has to be dried in sun for, let's say, 14 days. So you could imagine that if we dry this yogurt in in an open area, it has to be non healthy due to insects and dust and so on. So the I also suggest to dry jamid, which called jamid, this dried yogurt. I also tried to suggest how we could use geothermal energy for clean Jamid products. So this is also another option. Yes, mineral extraction, and it's expected to have a lot of mineral extractions, especially if we go to a deep geothermal resources utilization in Jordan. And I'm looking to have an opportunity for discuss this with my colleagues and some of our researchers for lithium extraction in southern Jordan. Local communities development, I also show you some examples. And freshwater sourcing, if we also try to catch the opportunity to have deep geothermal systems in Jordan, that these teams could be a source for freshwater sourcing. So the research lines which we're really looking to have from worldwide experiences and expertise to evaluate the current geothermal resources, and I told you it's not explored yet, and the potential is not really well known by numbers and measurements and so on, to investigate the thermophysical properties, and I can show you an example of that, to assess the hydrogeological characteristics of reservoirs, especially those are on the Dead Sea fault zone, and modeling and calibrating underground temperature, then assessing the direct and indirect utilization. Here is one of also my trials to have the thermophysical properties of Jordanian basalt. It's one northeastern aquifer. It was actually, now it's the drawdown went to limestone, which is underlying. But the basalts at that time could be a good aquifer to have the four-dimensional investigation on thermo, mineral, and physical properties of basalt. So the thermal conductivity, permeability, and porosity as well could be measured, the thermal diffusivity, and the specific heat capacity. This is an example of something I did 10 years ago through my PhD work, and I'm really looking to have such investigations in limestone and sandstone, which are currently the aquifers where the hot water come from. So what we use in Jordan is just the closed loops. We couldn't use the open loops due to the shortage of the groundwater resources, especially if you know that we are the second poorest country in the world with the water. So we have really a crisis, let's say, regarding fresh water and drinking water availability in Jordan. And we use the closed loops for heating and cooling three main buildings in Amman, in the capital city. One of them is the American University, which is heated and cooled totally by geothermal resource. The other one is the Higher Council of Science and Technology, and it's I think it's about 1,000 quadratic meter, which is cooled and heated also by shallow geothermal resource. And the third one, we have 2 or 3 villas, private, let's say, residency in Amman also. Those are cooled and heated by geothermal energy. So unfortunately, we don't have that much resources for using geothermal, shallow geothermal resources, but we are really keen to have much more opportunities for geothermal resources. What I suggest also, the dynamic cooling model and heating model, alternating operation. It can be used annually, where the heat plume can be carried away by groundwater. This is just a model, just suggested. Unfortunately, I told you that the Jordanian groundwater level is becoming dramatically drawdown, so we couldn't use such operational model currently. But this is one of my trials to suggest how we could use the cooling model year by year. So yeah, this is another suggestion of using the night sky cooling. As I told you, the Jordanian nights are extremely cold in winter and fairly cold in summer. So we could use the system for heating at night and for cooling. I mean, the water will be cooled at night sky cooling later at night. So this is also another option to have geothermal systems in Jordan. What we're looking for, as maybe most of the countries all around the world are looking for, coupling, maybe tripling the geothermal system with other energy resources. In Jordan, we have 300 days annually for sun lighting. We don't have such cold winters or extremely shadow winter. So we have at least 3-4 hours a day, even in winter, with sun lighting. That's why we could use the solar energy coupled with geothermal energy, where the solar energy could be used in daylight and the geothermal energy could be used at night or maybe day and night. So the argumentation currently in Jordan that the geothermal energy is a 24/7 energy resource. It's much the operational and also the potential and the efficiency is much better than the solar energy. We don't have lots of wind turbines in Jordan. We're little bit far from hydrogen energy. It's brandly new in Jordan, and the solar energy maybe is the abundant one, and the biomass, we have some modest trials in some landfills in Jordan for biomass energy. So the geothermal energy could be a really good opportunity, especially that I also showed you that Jordan has really good potential for heating and for cooling and also for sustainable development aspects, using the geothermal energy as a good resource for sustainable development. So Jordan, to conclude this presentation, I could say that Jordan shows high potential for geothermal energy, but it's not evaluated for future comprehensively yet. Updated investigation should be delivered to the public and private sectors, highlighting the geothermal potential, and I'm really trying to do that currently, but I need much effort and I need a team, and I'm looking to have a lot of colleagues in worldwide, and also some of my students, master students, are doing such trials with me. And integrated plan for geothermal applications in Jordan is really very essential, especially in the policies and strategies, and it's not there yet. I mean, no mention about any geothermal applications in Jordan in the policies and strategies of the Minister of Energy and Mineral Resources. Geothermal resources utilization in Jordan leads to have a positive environmental and economic contribution to the national bill, and despite of the political and technical and financial barriers that may be faced by geothermal utilization in the country, I think the geothermal resources in Jordan could solve really a wide socio-economic problems, and could also have a good print on the environmental footprint, and it could also meet the needs of the country regarding heating and cooling and other sustainable development issues. So thank you very much for your attention, and this is one of our maybe my favorite photos, which is one of our also hot springs in North Jordan, where the water is cooled down by this stream flow. You can see the sulfur is very clear here. Then the farmers collect this water after cool down and irrigate their crops directly. So unfortunately, the heat loss is large here, and the heat couldn't be used the heat or the energy resource here couldn't be used, unfortunately, because we just they cool the water and irrigate their crops directly. Thank you very much, and it was really a pleasure to have this talk, and thank you for your attention.
Wow, thank you so much, Sana. That was fantastic. It was really good to get I suppose a different perspective in terms of the opportunities that geothermal could bring certainly to Jordan. So yeah, a fantastic all-encompassing overview of geothermal potential for Jordan. So just a bit
Thank
of a
you.
reminder for our thank you. So just a reminder for our audience, please feel free to post questions in the question box. We'll do our best to get through them. But maybe if I kickstart proceedings, Anna, you know, your comments regarding that focus on geothermal cascading uses, I feel that's almost just as priceless as the conventional applications of geothermal. So providing women economic empowerment, providing them the heat source, not just super hot, but enough to take advantage for soap production, for example, as you said. So to me, geothermal being integrated into Jordan's energy mix, so for heating and cooling purposes, for me makes complete sense. I know you touched on a few of them, but what do you think are the biggest hurdles for geothermal to be implemented in Jordan's energy mix? And what do you feel is the primary next steps that need to be taken to get the geothermal update?
Uh, I think what we have to do in Jordan, starting with the awareness, the local community, even even the decision makers, even the sometimes the let's say the some decision makers like ministers or head divisions or whatever they are, they don't know anything about geothermal energy, and what they're link in their minds that geothermal energy is just for power generation. And yeah, we don't have in Jordan such a resource because we have to drill very deep, and it's not very, actually it's fair. I could say it's maybe you could less than 1 kilometer, maybe 500 meter, you will have a high temperature for power generation. But anyhow, the drilling matter, the cost, the strategy, the plans, it's not very let's say empowered to have this influence to use geothermal. So I have to start with the awareness. We have in the Jordanians, and I have to start to public awareness. Hello, we have geothermal energy, not for power generation. We could use it for much more applications. The ladies could use that also for their own SMEs. The ministers, the Ministry of Irrigation, it's considered to have a part of this. The Ministry of Water is considered to have a part of this. The Mineral Resources Ministry could also have a part of this. So awareness is my, let's say, a future and current actually actions to have to reach the people wherever they are, just to know what is geothermal energy is and what we have in Jordan regarding the shallow geothermal resources and also deep geothermal resources.
No, that's great, and to me it sounds like a recurring theme for lots of places is actually sometimes it's that communication, that baseline, fundamental understanding of the potential of the resource and getting that out there to those decision makers, and of course the people who would be taking advantage of the benefits of that. No, that's really interesting, really interesting.
Yeah.
So just another question. Sorry, I don't want to hog the floor.
Yes,
Um,
please.
based on your interactions that you've had, let's say people in policymakers, I suspect you probably have had those discussions, and I know past couple of months that you've had a bit of an outreach workshop program, and then of
Yeah.
course the women that you're dealing with in these villages that would benefit from that. based on your communications, do you feel that there is a positive response to geothermal?
Yes, what we do have our is really good response, but it's linked with the power generation from I mean from the decision makers. They link the mineralogy, the spas, the whatever the crops drying, the greenhouse heating applications. It's fine for them, but they used to link this with power generation. And also, I told you the power generation is not experienced yet in Jordan because of the drilling. But according to the geophysical logs we do have, and also the thermal temperature, let's say, records we do have in subsurface, I think we will have a good potential for power generation. But in Jordan, we do have a problem with the electric generation. We still have more than maybe 85 up to 90% of our electricity came from fuel consumption. That's why we're looking for green, completely green resources. Coupling geothermal energy with solar was a little bit convince them, let's say, to think about geothermal resources again and think about how to have a night source of energy and a night source of heating and cooling. And also, when I came to the people, those are willing to support ladies or to support students or to support local communities, they really were have a very positive response regarding how we could use the geothermal energy for empowering communities. So that this is the vision of all the decision makers according to their backgrounds.
Brilliant. No, good to know. I think what I've noticed as well, we've got a question in the chat. It's actually of a similar theme, but we'll read it out. So where women are utilizing geothermal to develop SMEs, have you seen a change in their sense of feeling more empowered, more confident, becoming more creative in the development of business ideas? And do you see a growth in community acceptance of geothermal?
Yes, I could say that we had another, let's say, stories from other sources of women empowerment. For geothermal, not yet, but I could say that the ladies, when they have a shop, for example, for soap making, and this gonna be a mineral water with soaps, for example, or she will have, for example, her own hostel with hot or warm water. So what I'm thinking is when the women have their own economic empowered situation in a small SMEs or whatever they will have, they will stand up and they will raise really their voice in the community, and also they will empower their families. They also will empower their daughters to have their high education, for example, opportunities. This is something in Jordan, yes, it's there, but the mothers are always have the pioneer rules to push their daughters or their sons as well for having higher education opportunities. So regardless the source of their own income, I believe that each lady, each woman, when she has already his own economic empowerment or empowered situation, she will be a very impressive, very active, very innovative, very productive person in the community. Yes, sure.
Ah, brilliant, brilliant. So changing the theme slightly, we've got another question from Lucy. So thank you, Zana. So the second geothermal field in your map of geothermal regions in Jordan showed its close proximity to a natural gas field. So is there the potential, or is there talk of repurposing oil and gas wells to geothermal?
Yes, actually, this was one of our discussions in our workshop. Maybe it was a hidden discussion, but anyway, it was in there. Yes, this field is currently restricted by private sector. It's not totally governmental, but as a resource for researchers, it's open to have what we need from the temperature records and so on. So yes, we had this discussion with the Ministry of Energy, and there is an opportunity to have a look over the utilization of deep geothermal, because there is deep geothermal resources there for electric generation and fresh water, especially that area is very far from the capital city Amman, which is around 4 hours driving, and we need really to supply the people there with the fresh water and with the electricity as well.
No, that's really interesting. It's really interesting. No, fantastic. So just to just so my understanding that for your research endeavors and for your students, the data you require is available to you to conduct those studies, or was some of that data held within the private sector?
Actually, we have both. It depends on what we are looking for. For example, when we had this thermophysical properties, one of my students did that. We just shipped the samples to Germany, to Darmstadt University, where I have still contact with my colleagues there, and they already did the thermoscanning process for the samples, because we don't have a thermoscanner in Jordan. So the data, I mean the thermo physical data is not available actually, but we used to have some trials here and there. Regarding the porosity, permeability, yes, we have, and also the Ministry of Water and Irrigation database is available more or less for the researchers. Let's say 70% of the data are available for the researchers, and even if it's restricted by the private sector, regards the oil and gas, for example, or regarding the deep wells there, the Ministry of Mineral Resources could help and could have a hand to collect such data for researchers, and they support the students very well.
No, that's good to hear. But then also, I think it's just as important, isn't it, for collaboration both within the private sector and then in the research institutes to be able to work together in that space. I think there's
Yes.
real benefit there. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And this is the role of the ministry, actually. And they are really adapting this role to have connections between us as researchers and academics and the private sector for collecting data.
No, brilliant, brilliant. Um, okay, just a couple more questions here. Again from Lucy. Just also love the message of the empowerment for women. Amazing job, Anna.
Thank you.
And then we have another question. So you've touched upon some of the water challenges in Jordan. How will Jordan look to address water supply issues and mitigate for the effects of over abstraction and drawdown when geothermal can be water intensive?
Yeah, regarding the water supply as it is, we're thinking about desalination currently from the Red Sea. I mean, for drinking purposes and maybe for irrigation later, I don't know. But at least for drinking purposes, we're looking for a large desalination unit built by our beach, Aqaba, at the Red Sea beach. And I suggest to have a geothermal energy for this desalination unit, because the unit will be the plant will be very nearby the fault zone. So it could be a chance to have a geothermal power generation here. I mean, it could be a chance to have an opportunity. sorry, I have to pick. Yes. Sorry for that. Just a moment.
It happens to the best of us.
Sorry. Yeah. My husband actually he's doing his PhD in Morocco, so he's just calling me. He will have his dissertation in a couple of days, so he's in stress somehow. Yeah. So going back to the water, issue, yes, regarding the drinking water, we will desalinate our saline water from Red Sea. And there is also another sustainable development issue, that the Dead Sea is dying. The drawdown on the level of the Dead Sea is 1.2 meter annually drop down. So the idea is to bring this saline water more or less to rehabilitate the Dead Sea again. This is the idea up to this moment. Regarding the geothermal resources, my idea is not to excavate much more water or groundwater resources. The springs are already there, and the water is running there. And those water is running from, I told you, from more than 50 springs, just running through valleys and through some streams, and then ending with the Dead Sea or any other low points. So the water is there. I will not convince people to dig much more wells for extracting thermal water, but just use the thermal water which is already there. It is a good idea to use the geothermal resource, I mean, from heating aspects, from the heat source, not from the water aspect. Yes, drilling wells to have the heat source, to have the steams for power generation, but sure, not using the groundwater available. Also, especially if we know that there is a lot of thousands actually of illegal wells. Those are drilled in the basins all over the Jordan. We have 12 basins, main basins, and they are already draw down. Some of them are more or less get into completely dry now.
So this is it. It's that focus on sustainability, isn't it? That we have to be mindful about that too. And if we want a functional system, then it has to be sustainable too. And geothermal falls into that category as well. I know again you briefly touched on this in your summary slides, and I suppose I've got a couple of questions, and excuse my ignorance, but is Jordan a country that is prepared to embrace the energy transition? Is it prepared to look at diversifying its energy assets? And in terms of, I suppose, climate and energy, Jordan climate and energy policy, is geothermal mentioned in that mix?
For the first part of your question, yes, Jordan is trying to really diversify the energy resources, especially that I told you we are really rely on maybe more than 90% of our power generation on the fuel, at conventional fuel resources. So yes, Jordan looking for lot of other renewable energy resources like wind, like biomass, and also we have hydropower on the dams, not on, we don't have surface water, but yeah, we have some pilot projects, maybe 2 or 3 on our main dams in Jordan, but we're still suffering from even the decreasing precipitation situation year by year in Jordan. So yes, we are looking for diversify these resources, but still geothermal energy not there. That's what I emphasize in my presentation in the policy and strategy. Geothermal energy is not there because the people still thinking about geothermal energy, how we could use geothermal energy just for power generation. And I believe that we could use it, sure, for power generation, But still, the solar energy currently is cheaper, are considered to be cheaper. And maybe the government, I don't know, but as academic and researcher, I'm looking for the next 50 or 100 years. On the long term, the solar energy will, the efficiency will decrease, but the geothermal energy efficiency will stay stable, or the if it will be decreased, it's not as much as fast as the solar energy will be. So this idea is not in their minds, unfortunately, and they're looking for 5 years maybe solutions or less. So they touch directly the solar energy opportunities in Jordan. We're still having this argumentation with the government as a scientist, that we should have wind energy, we should have geothermal energy, we should have also another biomass energy in Jordan. Solar energy is fine, but now it's clear that the efficiency is becoming really a problem, and also the operating hours of and the storativity and storage of the energy from solar resources also become a large discussion in Jordan.
No, yeah. So some challenges ahead, but hopefully we'll see some positives in the long run. So we've actually maybe we've got time for one more question. So it's just come through our questions. There we go. So thanks for a great talk. Are your students excited by the prospect of bringing more geothermal energy use in Jordan? And is there a lot of awareness around the energy transition among geoscience students?
It depends actually on the supervisor. So if the supervisor of their students are really supervisors are really let's say have this passion to do geothermal research, yes, the answer will be yes. If the supervisors are not that much interested about the geothermal resources, then the answer would be no. Regarding my students, and they are 90% of my students are females, by the way, and they are really very always very keen to have an opportunity to discuss geothermal energy with the others, even with their families and with their friends and so on. So I think that the students, my students, really will, or actually they are messengers to increase the awareness about geothermal energy. I also touched some interest on bachelor level, because I have course of renewable energy, and I always shed the light on geothermal energy, and really I touched some interest from bachelor level, that, oh, what is geothermal energy, and do we have in Jordan geothermal energy, and this is new for us, and this is so I have this discussion always in this course on also undergraduate level.
No, that's fantastic. I suppose you're planting the seeds for the trees to grow. So
Yeah,
yeah,
hope so.
no. Right. Well, fantastic. I mean, just give it another 30 more seconds if anyone has any other questions to ask. Well, Zana, I'll have to say thank you so much for your time and for that all-encompassing presentation. I've certainly plenty of food for thought. Oh, we've got Helen here.
Sorry, I was just coming on before we finished.
So yeah, so thank you so much, and I hope, fingers crossed, we'll start seeing more geothermal present in Jordan. And again, thank you all, and thanks for everyone who watched. But yeah,
Thank you very much for this opportunity, and I'm really looking forward to have such discussions always between scientists, researchers, females and male as well, on geothermal resources. And we have to have our messages, and we have to be a messengers for such energy resource. Thank you very much. Thank you for Wing. Thank you for you, Becky, and thank you for the team. Thank you very much.
No, you're very welcome. Thank you.
Have a nice evening.